What do you do if your trigger is stuck and your machine is always on? Turn it off. What do you do if your trigger is stuck and your machine is always on? Turn it off.
Now, this is actually a pretty common problem, especially with machines that you use consistently. First thing you want to do is you want to go and take the screws out, and this is actually a problem. This is your trigger mechanism. Go ahead and disconnect it. There's two little buttons on each side of the trigger mechanism, the connectors, and it kind of takes a second to get them off, but push that button. I use a little screwdriver, kind of helped me out to pull to get them off. Make sure you take note of which wire goes on what connector. As you can see here, as I push on it, there's no springy effect to it. Something is broken on the inside of this switch. So let's go ahead and break it open and see what the problem really is. Initially, I thought there would be a spring or something on the inside that was just kind of broken, but it actually turns out is there's another switch on the inside of this, and the button, all it does is just push the button on the inside of the switch, if that makes sense. And here is our little switch from the inside. As you can see, it doesn't like spring out. You push on it and it kind of just sits there.
So after a lot of research, this is actually a microwave door switch.
Like I said, I did a lot of research on this to kind of figure out where and if and what this kind of switch was. I found out there's actually two different kinds of microwave door switches. One's called normally open, one's called normally closed. Unless you're an electronics expert, you're really not going to understand what it is, but I really suggest go ahead and making sure that whatever one that you buy, the markings match the original one that you're going to buy right here. These are very important to make sure the connectivity is in the right spot. And for $8 a piece, that's not too bad.
Here's the new one.
All right, what we're going to do is we can kind of put this back together the way we got it. All right, so there's two little grooves that these things kind of slide into, and then we're going to screw it back together. Now, don't over-tighten it because then that'll cause the button to snag on itself. Remember when I said that you need to make note of which wire goes where? Well, that's where this comes into play, putting it back together. I was lucky that it was pretty obvious depending on the length of the wire. As you're putting it back together, make sure you're not smashing other wires. You have your faceplate in the right spot. It kind of took me a second here to figure it all out. I think I even lifted up, right there, to get some wires out of the way. Remember, you have screws too, so make sure there's no wires are going over those tops of the screws. There's technically 4 screws in this thing, 2 in the side of the handle and 2 going up. I just show here the 2 in the side handle so we can...
Now get back to making those beautiful rugs.